go again. Now, okay, It's like, that is just mind blowing what you guys are doing there. The Roddy McDonald's tune is incredibly creative in itself, but the scoring there, Kerr, is just off the charts.
Yeah, the last part was really the opportunity. This is actually probably why I picked the tune. It lined up with Zito really well, but the last part I was like, I could really take this as an opportunity rhythmically to go mental, basically, to just absolutely go for it. So the very first couple of bars, I'm using kind of dead strokes with the sticks with doubles in between, which really lines up with what Chris is doing. And then Chris came up with the idea of do we basically chop a beat off of bar 4 before going into bar 5, and it just helps move it along a little bit and give a different rhythmical idea as well, because the tune's quite samey in that last part. So just to give a different idea was really cool. Um, and this was basically the point where it was like, let's just go for it. And you see the kind of back stick and the stick flip there. That came to me just messing about with kind of rhythmical ideas and was like, this actually fits. And to me, if you're going to do something like that, it has to aid the tune, and it has to be musically pleasing. That's the number one. And two, it has to take skill and ability and technicality to do it. And if it ticks those two boxes, then generally it should be fine. It's not just there as a gimmick. It's not there for the sake of it. It's because it aids to the tune, and it takes technical ability to be able to pull that off. And I think that part is really more just about technicality and technique. And that's kind of the final point of everything being really, really intense before we go in the last tune. It just kind of settles back down again, and is nice and easy to listen to.
Yeah, I was going to say that's like the peak of the hill, and it just, as you say, with taking a beat off, kind of moving the tune along, it just builds and builds and builds, um and then the last tune, it just tees up the last tune to release and just really play it almost like it's a session tune. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's I can't help but thinking it's incredibly high risk. Because it's even for for a piper like me, I can tell it's very very difficult stuff. But the reward. Did you treat it kind of that way, Kara? High risk but incredibly high reward too if you pull it off.
Yeah, for me, doing something like that, there's a couple of different ways to look at it. Yeah, it's high risk. However, people when they watch that video are probably going to go straight to the bit where it's a backstick and stick flip. And I hope personally that really inspires a lot of people to get into our art form, and get into drumming and pipe and love what they're doing, and something that people can aspire to do. Not just making something easy that everyone can play it, but having something that's difficult and people can say, I want to aspire to try and do something like that. So that was the school of thought there. It wasn't to, try and win something or to try and think of it down that way. It was more about how can I help inspire the next generation of drummers, and that was the wee bit in it for me.
I think
Nice.
what's brilliant as well is like you see it more and more with band medleys as bands starting to think outside the box and propose new ideas. And I think the community in general is becoming more accepting to that, because I think you were the first person to kind of try do something like that on that competitive stage, and it obviously didn't take away from how other people saw the performance. And so it's great that you've kind of, in some ways, pushed the door open for people to try and be more creative and try new things. Because as you say, it'll just inspire people to do that.
And I think with that little bit as well, is it would be easy, not easy, but a lot of people would think of adding in a gimmicky kind of move. But for me, it has to be done in the right place. And it's used in a transition where we kind of double up the end phrase of Last Tango before going into the next tune. And it just aided that transition pretty seamlessly instead of just putting it in for the sake of it.
Well put. All right, let's take it home with Ray Anderson. Excellent. That is just was brilliant. We had the ending there, but when you did come off, Kerry, had a broad smile. Did you feel at that point that you'd really, done the business with it? That you did everything you could, or was there still some more that you could have done better? What were you feeling?
For me, music is all about feeling. It's all about how something makes you feel. It's a very, very personal thing. And in that moment, the way that I'd felt in that performance was not really anything that I'd experienced before, where it was just wow. It just made me feel. I couldn't tell you really if there was technical flaws at the time. It was just the feeling after it. I was like, wow, it delivered something special for me in that moment. And then when the crowd reaction, it was like, well, right, you don't expect something like that. I would never ever expect to hear anything like that. And when that came, it was like, wow, okay, so this was a moment. But no, I wasn't even thinking about results or anything like that at all. It was more just the feeling of the performance being like, wow, that felt how I imagined it when we were creating set months ago.
And were you thinking at all about hey, that's enough to take the prize, and or is it just happy to be done, or happy to have done the best you can, kind of thing?
Honestly, no. When we came off, me and Chris just took a moment. We were like, we did what we wanted to do, but there's not even a thought of that'll be enough or that won't be enough, because we were kind of halfway through the draw, so there was still a lot of other people to come on and play, and there's so many players in there capable of delivering something very, very special. So no, there wasn't even a thought of results. We were just happy with the performance and the feeling that we both had, and hopefully the audience had as well.
We were quite emotional when we came off in the corridor, which is not really something we've had before either. But the whole day, in terms of managing the day emotionally, it was very relaxed. But we focused a lot on gratitude, in the sense that we knew the semi-final was probably not the most important performance in terms of how it affects the outcome of the day, but it was the most important in the sense it gave us the opportunity to go and showcase that piece that we'd worked on for so long. And in the build up, a lot of the conversation, the language we were using was just about how grateful we were to have the opportunity, A, to play together, but B, to go and perform that piece because we were so excited about it. And obviously the live stream only focuses here, but as soon as we got off the stage, I think I walked out the door with my arm around him, and we were just absolutely beaming from ear to ear because we were just, as I said, it felt like it was just the two of us in there. Then all of a sudden it stopped, and we got an excellent reaction. And my mum texted me after the MSR because she was watching. She said, "You left the stage too quickly. When you do the hornpipe and jig, stop and take it in for a minute." And it was great because it was a really lovely reception we got.
That's wonderful. And Chris, stay with you just a bit. Simple question: do you get more nervous playing, for Kerr McQuillan in the World Solo Drumming Championships, or do you get more nervous playing with Peoplesford, Boghall, and Bathgate, Caledonia at the World Pipe Championships?
I would say Kerr probably edges it because there's a bit of safety in numbers with the band if your mind goes for a walk for a minute in the circle. But I think as well that if you play at the Worlds, that is really the culmination of months and months and months of preparation. So you're really at the best you can be. Whereas obviously there's a bit of time off after Worlds, and then it's time to get ready for the solos. So we're always there in sort of peak condition. But as we were talking about earlier, when that first three-pace roll goes off, you are like, I really hope this something doesn't go wrong here in this attack because it can be a lonely place on what is quite a small stage. But once, as I said, once we get into the set, it's pure flow state, especially in like that performance. It's just flow. We're just up there, and everything is so relaxed. The hands are so relaxed, and it just feels so easy to play together. We've like known each other for such a long time that it's just really easy and fun more than anything to play together. So I'm anxious for 1 minute in peak, and then after that, it's just fun.
Very good. And Kerr, drummers, I think universally have the issue of finding a piper who is willing to accompany them, at the games and solo events. What's your advice to drummers when it comes to getting a piper who can really help you?
Certainly the way that me and Chris see things. Or to be fair, any piper that I've worked with, it's more of a duet. Yes, it's called the World Solo Drumming, but it's a duet competition. The drum's an accompanying instrument, and you've got to work together so closely to deliver that special performance. So from a piper's point of view, it's about trying to flip it into, yes, I'm playing for a drummer, but how can they both be part of this performance equally, and how can they both get the same enjoyment out of that? So for us, it's in terms of composition and working together and trying to create the music as a duet that we want to create. And also just having fun. The preparation is fun for us doing that. It's not a chore at all. It's getting together, playing the instrument that you love, bagpipes and drums, and working with a friend doing that. So I think trying to relay if you're trying to get to a piper that's a duet and it's something that you can form together and it's music that can last with you for a very long time, because I suspect that Chris, I hope, gets the exact same out as I do. Certainly when they announced that I'd won it, it was more like we had won it. It wasn't me winning it. It was a duet. It's two people, and that's certainly the way that I see it.
Yeah, I would agree with that. My advice to a drummer would be find a piper that wants you to win almost as much as you do. Like as Kerr said, when it got announced, we were like, I always say, try not be too excited, try not go over the top, but we were so pleased and so happy, like so passionately happy and I want him to succeed in like all the competitions so much. So I go into, even though it's the World Solo Drumming, it's Kerr McQuillan, I think we do very much treat it as a duet and a performance together, which is, I think, what's kind of paid dividends in the history we've had so far together.
Well, that's fantastic. It's great advice, great thoughts. Really want to congratulate you both for winning the 2025 World Solo Drumming, and long may your partnership continue. It seems like a really symbiotic kind of relationship of two friends who are just making great music together. So, congrats on that too, and thank you for sharing all of your thoughts and the four scores. Kerr's been kind enough to provide those manuscripts for Pipes Drums readers, drummers out there to enjoy those too. So thanks again, guys, and all the best for the future. We'll be watching closely.
Cheers.
Thank you. Cheers.
Stay tuned for more from Pipes Drums, coming soon.